Hello!
Hello, Mark.
I'm now driving. I'm just sort of adjusting on the fly a little bit.
This really is your first time.
It is. First time. And it's a car that I've been quite excited to get in for a while, because when it first came out, I vaguely remember it not getting hugely great reviews. It wasn't panned, but it wasn't the expectation of what a Golf should be in this didn't quite match, I think, what was my impression when it first came out.
Well, that's interesting, because I've always heard some really positive reviews about it.
Well, now that I've started looking at the actual groups of owners, they love it. And I can actually see why. It feels slightly lower than a Leaf, I would say.
Yeah,
maybe it hugs the ground a bit more.
It just feels a bit more cemented in some ways. Less fancy, less I've got an electric car and you will bow before me.
Yeah, so like I think when you said about the dash, the fact that it's analog doesn't kind of scream digital in your face the way the Leaf does. The Leaf very much had everything about me is electric and digital and rah, and this isn't so much. And
so is this the Technophobe's electric car?
Quite possibly. And there's nothing. I think you're right. It doesn't feel different to a Golf. It just feels like a Volkswagen. I know that's their catchphrase as well. I'm loving the no regen and adjusting it. I've always wanted that button that was on the EV1 that just switched the motor off, and I've wanted that in a Leaf for a long time, because I get annoyed sometimes when it uses power and I don't want it to, or regens and I don't want it to. So having the ability to switch it off is lovely. Charging, I was going to ask you about, because this is a CCS car.
Yes, so CCS comes as standard on the e-Golf.
That's good that it says standard then. So
in Europe, you have, I believe it does. In Europe, you have your Type 2 based CCS.
Yes.
Which gives you a 3 kilowatt onboard charger, AC charger. And in the States, they have a Type 1 or level 2 J7072 charging socket, which is also obviously has the CCS embedded in it too, and that one will do 6 kilowatts.
So we are getting.
So Europeans get half the charging capability of the American ones.
That's quite fascinating, especially because in Europe, 3-phase power is more ubiquitous, especially in homes in mainland Europe.
Yeah, last time I asked someone at a Volkswagen event about it, they went, "It's coming." So 7 kilowatts is coming. As an
upgraded option,
and
maybe.
we're coming just off the CES week, the Consumer Electronics Show. So I don't know when we're going to put this up, but we should probably. This is early January 2015 when we're filming this, and they've just announced like a whole new thing for the e-Golf future models: inductive charging, where this like the pad on the ground raises up. And
which almost, for me, removes the point of inductive charging. If you're going to say you have to raise a pad up to get as close as you can, why don't you just raise a plug up and a socket up from underneath the car? Because it's being aligned by a computer, and that's what this has. This is why parking assist is appearing in more electric cars. So when inductive charging does come along, and I think it will, regardless of how silly I think it is, you don't park the car. The car detects where the charge pad is and parks itself. So this has all of that built in. It has self-parking, it has the adaptive cruise control, which I really want to play with because I've never had a car that does that.
Oh, but sometimes I should probably warn you, I've been playing with that a little bit this week, and sometimes it seems to forget.
Okay.
So it's great in traffic. You're not supposed to use adaptive cruise control in stop-start traffic, I should point out. But I have been using it in stop-start traffic. And then, the traffic clears, the light goes, you put your foot on the go pedal, the car accelerates up to the speed you've set. And if the other car is a long way ahead, it can sometimes just kind of come galloping up to a load of parked cars. And you're going, oh, I need to brake. So, yes. So, you really like that?
I like not having regen. I love it because this is how I want to drive. The car in front of me is slowing down because there's a hill coming up. So why should I waste power, even if wasting it is going through regen, which is less efficient? I like the idea of just rolling along behind the car.
What do you make of all the doodads and gadgets and styles and things?
On first impression, there's a lot to take in. I mean, as much as I said I like this analog look, I'm not quite sure immediately looking at it where the battery charge is, where the power is. So the big one on the left is power, but there's a smaller one inside it as well.
Yeah, so the smaller one tells you, I think the smaller one comes in, I haven't read the manual, the smaller one seems to come into play when it's nearly empty.
Okay.
So kind of let you know that your car is nearly done.
So they've obviously thought about a lot of stuff, but it's not necessarily immediately apparent what it is.
Yeah.
And this is very nice, and it's got big buttons that say nav and traffic and car and menu.
And it's bigger than the Leaf's one as well, isn't it?
It is, and it's very nice, but again, I need to sit down. It's one of those cars where I quite like sitting down with instruction books. I'm the kind of geek that reads instruction books. I'm not the kind that just likes going in and playing. I like knowing.
You are TFM.
Yeah, I do. I like knowing what the manufacturer expects to happen when I press a button. Whether that actually does happen is another thing altogether.
Okay. So we'll find out at the end of the week what you think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very impressed by they've got a button that does creep or not. So
Creep or not, yeah.
if I let go, no creep.
And you like that, don't you?
Well, I've never had a car that does it. But
Okay.
I think it fits better with the model of a car in my head.
And we should probably note as well. Can I tell this one secret about you? I'm sure we can.
Okay.
You don't have a manual. No, you do have a manual license, but you don't like manual cars.
Exactly.
That's right. So you drive you've been driving automatic long before you got an electric.
Yeah. So I had a manual car was my first car, but I was commuting in and out of Cardiff as a city. It was horrific. There's terrible roads in and out of Cardiff, and I got fed up and just went automatic because it was easier. And since then, every car I've ever owned is either automatic or hasn't had gears.
So yeah. So this is perfect for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye.